Dr. Marisa Heisel, Paul Holmes, and Danielle Daniel. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here with us. Dr. Goff, we're going to start with you. Yeah, lots of cheers. I like it. Last year, we introduced an essential oil, Copaiba. This year, we doubled down and put it into a soft gel form. From your experience as a medical doctor, share with us what you have learned about Copaiba, some of the results that you have seen, and what this new soft gel means to all of us.
All right. Well, last year when Copaiba was released, I was so excited. Were you guys excited too? Yeah? Excellent. So Copaiba is wonderful for the active individual who needs some healthy inflammation or recovery. But as a physician, what I've really enjoyed about Copaiba is hearing the wonderful success stories of many people sharing with me. Would you like to hear one of the stories? Yeah? So last year, veteran Staff Sergeant Scott, who had been deployed many times for his country, was struggling with many issues left over from the traumas of war. He was in constant pain and he was having a hard time having the relationships he wanted to, being the man, husband, and father that he wanted. When his wife started using essential oils, he would refer to her as the crazy oil lady.
You all know who you are.
Right. But he did listen to his wife, and he started to use Copaiba consistently and persistently. After 14 days, this is what he said. This is the best thing ever. I will never go back. This is a part of who I am now, and I will always have stock in it. He is living, right? He is living a life more comfortable, and he's able to have the relationships with his wife and children that he wants. I love the stories, and I'm sure he's not alone. Many of you have probably had your own success story with Copaiba. Right? It's a great oil. What I find consistent about the stories, though, is that it is the consistent, persistent use of Copaiba that brings about that change. And I am so excited about this new Copaiba soft gel because it makes it even easier and more convenient to use this powerful essential oil. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Goff. Danielle, your research into essential oils and emotions is fascinating. As a clinical social worker and a doctor of clinical psychology student, how have you used doTERRA in your professional setting to help patients?
Thank you. So I've been such a big fan ever since they created the emotional aromatherapy. How many of you guys love the emotional aromatherapy? I don't travel or I don't even go to the mall or anywhere without it. I love it. And so when they introduced that, I actually started using that. There's two modalities as a psychologist that we use in our clinical practice. And one of those is called pattern interrupt. And pattern interrupt is like when you want to interrupt some negative thinking or maybe an addictive cycle, something like that. You need to do something, and we teach people what is that to just to get you off of that negative thinking and off that addictive course. So we teach a pattern interrupt. The other thing is anchoring, and anchoring is more that we use for a comfort or a safe place, so, sort of like what you do with the child with a stuffed animal and a blanket. So it's in order to bring you back to that safe place. So one of the psychologists I work with, she actually had this amazing experience that I would love to share with you. And she had introduced to her client who was at the scene of an accident, so the first responder. It was very, very traumatic, and this person had a really hard time being able to process the trauma that had happened. So she was working with him, and she introduced the emotional aromatherapy. She had him smell each of them, and decide which one like he resonated with. And for a reason unknown to himself, he chose Passion essential oil, which is my favorite as well. Anybody else? Yeah. So he chose Passion. So then what she did, she started doing this session where they were talking about the trauma and helping him process it. But in the middle of that, his brain kind of dissociated and went back to the trauma, and he started experiencing really high anxious emotions. So she quickly grabbed the Passion, and immediately when he smelled it, it anchored him back to the safe place in her office. But it also did something else. It caused that pattern interrupt in his thinking, because it reminded him of Christmas and drinking hot chocolate with cinnamon when he was a child. So it's incredible the power that scent can have. So I always teach people to find some type of oil that can bring you back to a safe place.
Yeah. I love that story because Passion was able to do both, break the pattern and be that anchor. I love that. Paul, it's your turn. As the founder and coach of a very successful club, Tiger Rugby, you expect your players to be performing at the highest level. You use a lot of doTERRA products with your players. Talk to us about what you use and how you use them.
Yes, doTERRA is phenomenal for athletes. It really is. And we've been able to form a great partnership with Tiger Rugby and doTERRA. And we give our athletes, when they come together, we kind of come together from all over the world for a week before we compete. And so we have 2 trainings every single day. We put together a pack of 4 oils with the Deep Blue Rub and also the Correct-X. And the 4 oils that we put together are peppermint, wintergreen, eucalyptus, and lavender. The reason we do this is peppermint is just an absolute phenomenal oil to open up the airways, get blood flow going, get the guys alert, ready to go, focus on the training. Eucalyptus, we've actually found out, and the Australian Sports Science Institute put this out there, it's great to get lactic acid out of the muscles. So with the type of rugby we play, we have multiple performances each day. We get our massage therapists or athletic trainers to include eucalyptus with the Deep Blue Rub, and they're able to treat the players that way. And then obviously wintergreen is great for post-match when guys are feeling, they need a little support with maybe some of the pain they're feeling. And then everything is kind of not worth it if we're not rested. So the lavender is absolutely essential for the guys to get the rest that they need during the week. Yeah.
I love the picture, please, yeah. I love the thought of these big, tough rugby players putting the oils on. So that's a great image, right? It's got to be fun.
They're helpless without them.
Right?
Rely on them.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Dr. Snyder, one of your areas of expertise is infertility. So break that down for us and share with us kind of your thoughts, your ideas on how to bring that fertility and then have the best opportunity for a healthy baby.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to share 4 steps in enhancing your fertility today. We're going to start with step number 1, and that is de-stressing the body. In our modern world, we are combating lots of stressors, and it tends to be a big enemy in our fertility, mainly because cortisols go up and we deregulate the reproductive system. So grabbing an essential oil that calms down your emotions, gets that stress reset in play is so critical. And my go-to oils are Serenity, Balance, Peace, and Whisper for that. Number 2 is going to be reducing your toxic load, because we want to create a safe and welcoming environment for having a baby. And the best way to do that is by reducing your toxic exposure. The number 1 way we reduce our toxic exposure is avoidance. You want to avoid toxic chemicals. Now, I know that sounds harder to do than you think, but in your home, we have a lot of control, especially with the incredible product that doTERRA has. We can start swapping out our personal care, our cleaning products, our medicine cabinet, our beauty supplies, and again, doTERRA has so many amazing products for that. Then we've got gut support. Now, creating a healthy gut is one of the most important important things you can do for enhancing your fertility. Now, I think that foundationally, it's all about nutrition. So eating gut-healthy foods like green leafy vegetables, the color of the rainbow, fermented foods, and lots of fiber. Now, there are some key gut supplements that I am in love with, but I know Boyd and Danielle are going to hit those up in just a moment. And then make sure that you're loving up on your liver. So oils like Zindecrine, lemon, grapefruit, rosemary, and geranium, right on that liver is going to help support your gut. And then lastly is hormonal support, because again, your hormones are running the show in your reproductive health. So the phytoestrogen complex, the Claricom blend, and then I have a very special blend I want to share with you. And it is my enhanced fertility blend. In a 10 ml roller, you're going to take 12 drops of clary sage, 10 drops of geranium, 8 drops of sweet fennel, 5 drops of lavender, and 5 drops of bergamot or neroli. Top that off with fractionated coconut oil, and then roll it over the abdomen, bottom of the feet, or wherever you prefer to put it. And the real ticket here is doing all 4 of these steps daily to create an optimal and healthy body.
You're right, we are going to visit gut health a little bit more, and then we're going to come back to you and talk about hormones a little bit later. We're going to dig into that one. Dr. Heisel. Marissa. Reducing stress with children is something you're both passionate about and experienced in. You got a sneak peek at our kids line too. A little bonus of being on this panel. As a chiropractor, describe to us the importance of early self-care and how this new line will help us to help our children.
Thank you. You know, children really do have this incredible innate capacity to know what they need to help themselves. But one of the things they have trouble with sometimes is expressing that to us. They don't know how to communicate it. This new kit is going to provide kids from the youngest age with a really positive oils experience. They're going to be able to use blends that are intuitive, that are safe to use for the kids themselves. These are oils that we can hand to children to use themselves after appropriate parental guidance, and they'll be able to apply them for themselves. This kit beautifully addresses the whole child, the body, mind, and spirit, and it's going to help teach children to recognize that we need all of those facets to create good health. What we also have in each of those, body, mind, and health, are blends that are either calming or stimulating, so that children will be able to choose what they need moment by moment, which is a really beautiful thing to offer them. I see this collection being an opportunity for parents to really teach beautiful daily rituals of self-care to their kids. You can use that with something like words of daily affirmation or even prayer to help kids to find strength and support. But it's going to be something that children will be able to reach for on their own. The kit's been so thoughtfully designed. Even my teenagers loved the tactile feel of the case, the graphics that are carried onto the bottles, which is brilliant for kinesthetic learners or kids who are really sensory. The silicone caps and the carabiners are fun. They'll make sure they can carry the bottles safely. And then we've got flashcards that are easy to use. They were even thought of for the youngest kids or non-readers because each bottle will have an icon on it so that children can identify what they need. Now, the oils were meant for, these blends were meant for the ages of 3 to 10, but adults can absolutely use them on younger children, and older kids and adults can apply them more frequently if they want to use them during the day. So let's look at each of the blends. We've got the blends for the body. So we've got Stronger and Rescuer. And the word that I want you to think of with these blends is resilience. We're really seeing an issue with kids who are having trouble mounting appropriate immune responses these days. And these blends are really protective. Then the oils that are for the mind are Thinker and Calmer. And the word that you can think of here is restorative. We have kids who are struggling with behavioral issues and emotional issues and focus and concentration. And these oils are really going to help with redirecting and affirming a child. And then lastly, we have the oils for the heart. And the word to think of here is reassurance. So many kids struggle with tremendous emotional issues. Sometimes there's been early trauma or adverse effects. And this oil is going to help bring those positive energy to the surface.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I know I'm excited about the kids line, just me personally. Anybody else? Yeah. I think Brave's my favorite so far. I don't know. Boyd. Yes. I'd first like to acknowledge and thank you what you have done for our collective knowledge of essential oils and bringing us the Symphony of the Cells. Anybody else? Thank you for that. An additional topic that you talk a lot about is gut health. Talk to us about gut health and enzymes and digestive enzyme deficiencies and the issues that could result.
We don't have long enough time. No, the important subject to me for sure. When we have a deficiency, we're talking about a lack of proper digestion of our foods and assimilating of those foods and nutrients, and then the breakdown of so many things beyond that. But if we pay attention to some of the numbers, especially as wellness advocates of doTERRA, 70 million Americans suffer from some type of digestive disorder, and that's basically a third of the population. And if we look at numbers even further, we look at, generally it's stated that the rule of thumb is that for every 10 years of life, we decrease in our ability by 13%. In those 10 years, we decrease 13% in our ability to produce enzymes. So you think of that, by the time we're 30, over a third, yes, and by the time we're 40, over half of our ability to produce correct enzymes to benefit us has decreased. So therefore, we have to have an outside source. We have to have an exogenous source of enzymes to help us digest and do things properly. And anyway, the list will go on and on, but there's the process of the the enzymes. If we have this biochemical reaction, thousands of biochemical reactions inside the body, like taste, smell, touch, nerve conduction, detoxing of major organs. All of these things will deplete. And most people have learned this as they've gotten older in life, that these things will decrease. And so again, we need this outside source, especially for nerve conduction, because if we also understand that the peristaltic movement of our intestines to be able to get rid of waste and bile has now slowed down, that's what enzymes will help as well. And everybody heard Dr. Talbot say yesterday that protein is life. This is what we're getting from enzymes. So go for it.
Thank you. I think that's a perfect setup kind of for our next question to Danielle. You study the link between the gut and the brain. Talk to us about what you found and how strong that connection is.
Yeah, thank you. And it just made me want to go take some Terrazymes right now, just hearing all that. So the gut-brain connection is actually crucial. I mean, when I got into, doctorate studies and we study all the stuff about the brain, you cannot ignore the gut, because whenever I want long-term results with the client, we have to look at gut processes. The Lifelong Vitality Pack, of course, is my number one. When people call me and say, well, what if I just want to do one thing, one oil? And I'm like, well, then it's the Lifelong Vitality Pack. But I will tell you, the gut-brain connection, so if you look at about 40% of what you eat is used for energy for the brain, or lack thereof, right? So that's why what you eat is so important. And then we look at even like serotonin. You guys know, what is that neurochemical for? One of the main functions in the brain is what? Happy. It's your happy chemical, right? And so over 95% of your serotonin is actually produced in the gut, not the brain. Less than 1% is produced in the brain. There are other neurotransmitters that are now being found in the gut as well. This is why nutrition for the gut, like we're talking about hormones, everything is really stabilizes here in the gut. So I'll share a real quick story of a really sweet little girl that I worked with. She was 14 years old, and she had been having some anxious emotions for a while and pretty low mood at school, and was having a really hard time focusing. She did not want to go to school because of the anxiousness, and because of her mood, she would try to get out of it a lot. And I had been seeing her for a while, and no matter what we did, it just wasn't really working. And one day, she said that, her mom said her gastrointestinal system was bothering her, that she was having some stomach upset. And she said it's been going on for a while. So I finally, it was like my aha moment. I said, let's try DigestZen. So I sent her home with some Digestin. I told her to do 1 drop under her tongue after each meal, and that was it. And then come back the next week, right? So she comes back the next week. Her and her mom come in my office. Both of them were smiling. I didn't know my girl had teeth. And at first, I thought she got a boyfriend, and because I thought, oh, okay, here we go. We got a boyfriend, so we're happy for a minute, you know? And so her mom was apparently liking the boyfriend. So they come in, and I said, so how was your week? And they're both like really excited to tell me. And I'm like, okay, what's his name? And she said, well, that stuff you gave us. And I said, the Digestin? I mean, I knew it was powerful, but I guess it's just amazing. It still blows me away sometimes. And she said, yeah, immediately when they left the session the week before, they had gone to the car and she had put it under her tongue and her stomach calmed down. And during the week, her stomach was able to be calm enough that in school her anxious emotions calmed down, her mood uplifted, and she actually enjoyed her week. So it was an amazing experience just seeing how important the gut, start with the gut.
Yeah. Yeah. What an amazing story. And yes, we only bring joy for a little while, us men, right, into your lives. Just a little while, temporary. Paul, as we've been preparing for this panel, I've discovered we both have a common love, not just a common barber, but a common love. And that's the Amavi line. Talk to us about how you use it and the difference that it's made in your life.
Sure. I was fortunate enough to try the Amavi line before it actually got launched, and I was absolutely blown away by it. And I'll tell you why now. As you guys know, I am extremely busy, either traveling around with my amazing wife, Betsy, who's a great leader, or with Tiger Rugby, right? And every day I've got decisions in front of me that I need to make, whether it's on the sports field, running substitutions, whatever it may be. And the amazing thing about the Amavi line is how it grounds me, balances me, and helps me to stay focused. Before the Amavi line, I was taking coconut oil, mixing a whole bunch of oils together, and trying to get the right blend. This blend is phenomenal for that, especially with the Buddha wood, the balsam fir, and the black pepper. It's just really good to help me, just manage different choices, decisions I've got to make, and it helps with any type of anxious feeling that we may have regarding those decisions. One interesting fact to kind of end with, while traveling a lot, I obviously use the soap, the bar, a lot, and I love it, but I actually use the aftershave lotion in reverse. I actually put it on and I shave with it every single day. If you guys have a haircut like Boyd, Jared, or myself, it is brilliant. It makes the job a lot easier. But also the oils that are in there just help with moisturizing. So it's a great product.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Thank you for sharing that. It's hard for me to call you Dr. Heisley. I wanted to say Marissa all the time. Dr. Marissa, how about that? Reducing stress with mothers and children is something that you've kind of dove into quite a bit and had a lot of experience in. Talk to us about what you've done in your practice with stress and as it relates to women and children.
Sure. So I'm going to tell you all a little bit about a day and what my practice might have looked like. Years ago, I was doing stress tests of patients. I was actually doing brainwave testing of patients. And I had a large percentage of my patient base who was either pregnant or trying to get pregnant. And I was shocked to find the number of women who had a stress response on this test that exactly resembled that of guys who had been in the special forces diffusing incendiary bombs in hostile countries. That's how stressed these women were. And so I started doing research looking at the outcome of that kind of stress on an unborn child. And what I discovered was that those babies are often born with a lower threshold for stress, meaning that it takes far less to stress those children out. At the same time, I was seeing a really high percentage of young kids who were showing clear signs of anxiousness or emotional issues, sometimes from as early as 3 years of age. By school age, those same kids were being investigated for behavioral issues like focus and concentration and mental health challenges. And as I looked at these kids, the vast majority of them had had multiple health issues from a very early age. And they'd gone through numerous conventional treatments. And what was happening there was that nobody was advising those parents to look at those children's gut health afterwards. And so after medication and after illness, nobody was connecting the dots for parents between nutrition and gut health and brain health. And then, of course, I had the teens. Every time a new 14 or 15-year-old girl came into my practice, I knew what she was coming in for. The severity of the anxiousness and the sadness that teens are experiencing these days is incredible. And the number of days that they're losing from school because of those issues is tremendous. And so I want to ask you, how many of you can recognize someone you know in that picture? How many of you might even have lived part of that picture? We are seeing these issues in every health practice across North America and around the world. And I want you to stop and consider the power that we have with doTERRA, with our supplements and our oils, to bring profound relief and to shift the experience that families are having in their homes. At the beginning of my journey with doTERRA, this was my why. It continues to be the reason why I believe that every single home needs doTERRA essential oils and supplements. So as you head home this week, I want you to ask yourself every single day, whose life can I bring some hope and promise to today?
Thank you for sharing that. We are the purveyors of hope in the world. Dr. Goff, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. You're an emergency physician, and we don't want to actually come see you. Am I right? You see a lot of patients every day who are there because of poor lifestyle choices. Talk to us about how we can avoid seeing you in the emergency room and how we can protect our bodies.
So, I won't take offense if you don't want to see me in the emergency department, that's okay. But when we talk about protecting our bodies, we're talking about living a wellness lifestyle, the foundation of which is going to be nutrition. You can choose to feed your body's health. Do you guys like lifelong vitality? Good. There is no better way, my medical opinion, to feed your body health than by taking lifelong vitality. Imagine with me, if you were to give your bodies the phytonutrients, the omega fatty acids, and the 9 most important essential oils on a daily basis, how would you feel? One study found that subjects who took a full daily dose of lifelong vitality for 2 months found statistically significant improvements in biomarkers measuring cardiovascular health, antibody status, inflammation levels, and blood glucose regulation. Subjects also reported to feel more mental clarity, energy, motivation, control, balance, and hope. Is that something that you would like? Right. Good. But I tell you what, if you're not already taking lifelong vitality, doctor recommendation is to start today. Change your life.
You heard it from the doctor. Start today. We've got a few minutes left. In fact, we're running quite short. Boyd, we have another reason to thank you for Yarrow. We sent a sample of the Yarrow over to Boyd a couple weeks ago, and he's had a chance to try that out. Tell us about your experience and why Yarrow was really important to you.
So as I receive an oil, especially a new oil, it's to the nose first and then to the skin. I want to see it, look at the color, and I saw the blue and I was excited. We're talking about antioxidant behavior here. And then it was directly to the mouth. And needless to say, about 12 to 14 hours later, I had a moving experience. But anyway, the benefits are many. We're talking about vast chemistry with this oil, and then you add the pomegranate seed to that to make it even a greater antioxidant. We're talking about cardiovascular and circulatory health. You're talking about cognitive health. You're talking about greater nerve function. You're talking about liver and blood health. So it's vast, and it's going to be I asked for it, I got it. I'm certainly going to speak out about it and use it for sure.
Love it. Thank you for making that possible, or pushing it along. All right, Dr. Snyder. Oh, that was
Yes.
not intended, everybody. Not intended. Totally off script there. We have about 30 seconds remaining. I know you've got a big topic. So
Yes.
talk about supporting hormones.
Yes, hormones. Ooh, it's my favorite topic of conversation. So real quick, hormones are powerful regulatory chemical messengers. And because they are literally following our lead, so they're responding to the environment that we create, what I've learned is the biggest needle mover for supporting your hormones is going to be self-care rituals. And that is because self-care is healthcare, right? So often, I meet women like myself who feel a lot of guilt and shame around putting themselves first. They always put their families, their friends, everyone else. And that is when we get in trouble with our hormones. So I wanted to bring us together and shift that belief around putting our health care first so that we can serve the people that we want to serve. Is everyone open to doing that today? So let's connect today. Let's decide that we're going to honor our bodies. We're going to honor our health by creating daily self-care rituals. Does that sound good to everybody? So a couple health concerns that I just want to address, recommendations that are geared towards hormonal imbalance. Number one, Dr. Marissa did a great job with stress, right? Making sure that you are addressing stress and overwhelm. We have amazing essential oils, but when you pair essential oils with deep breathing, you can literally lower cortisol levels and lower stress levels in a matter of seconds. Oils like Serenity, Balance, Peace, and Whisper, those are your new best friends. Have them with you at all times. For things like fatigue and feeling wired and tired, I want to really emphasize creating that sustainable energy. So making sure that you use nutrition as a foundation. So LLV and Mitotomax every single day. Want you to be taking that, but also have your energizer oils on hand everywhere you go. Oils like Motivate, Cheer, Citrus Bliss, even peppermint and wild orange are amazing. And then I want you to focus on anyone ever deals. Any sugar cravings? Anyone ever have any sugar cravings in the house? So my go-to blend for sugar cravings is going to be Slim and Sassy. I call that the Cravings Be Gone essential oil. And then the last group I wanted to just touch upon were your actual hormones, your reproductive hormones. You know, they tend to get a bad rap, but when we support them with the phytoestrogen complex and Clari-Calm, we really can create powerful balance. And then I have one more recipe I want to share with you today, and that is my Superwoman blend. Now, this blend is designed to get you in your zone of genius and feeling amazing the second that you use it. Now, it's a 10 ml roller. You're going to put 12 drops of clary sage, 10 drops of lavender, 5 drops of geranium, 5 drops of cedarwood, and 4 drops of ylang-ylang. Now, if you're feeling fancy, I do like a little rose and jasmine in there. And then I want you to rub your palms together, put your palms to your nose, take a couple of deep belly breaths, stand up and get into that Superwoman pose, which I'll leave right here, like that. And then just know that you're gonna rock that energy and reset your hormones by just breathing those oils in. And the big takeaway with all of this is the self-care rituals. So just do yourself a favor, take care and honor your body so that you can go out and serve the people that matter most to you.
Thank you for sharing that. Well, our time's up, panel. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us and helping us all to take our wellness to the next level. Thank you.